I am the law. This is what Judge Dredd said himself, and he was not joking. When we talk about a character whose entire identity is consumed by duty, we're talking about Judge Dredd. This guy is on a whole nother level. Now, while Batman is trauma-driven and Superman is morality-driven, Dredd is defined by systematic loyalty in a way that we haven't really seen in another character. He has no life outside of this uniform. This creates a dissociative self where Dredd, the man, whoever or whatever that would have been, disappears, leaving only Dredd the judge. This is both psychological armor and really a prison for him. Now, this is all about authoritarian conditioning. This is how he was brought up at this community of the Academy of Law from the very beginning. So he never develops attachment. He has no hobbies. He has very little emotional framework. So his rigidity is not by choice. This is inoculation. So the absence of humor, empathy, or nuance is by design. It's programmed as a defense mechanism in this very chaotic dystopian world. It makes him seem stable, and relative in this world, he is stable, but he's also extremely emotionally stunted. Now, we see cracks in the armor sometimes that he does form relationships with some people, like, Judge Anderson and a few others. He's formed some genuine, bonds that he shows a little bit, but he primarily represses empathy, and this is an important part. So this kind of destabilizes him psychologically. He deflects a lot, so he doesn't have to deal with the real impact of what he does. He compartmentalizes humanity for the sake of functionality. He has this very brutal society that he has to make cold decisions about, or at least this is how he rationalizes it in his head. And without this ability to repress these things, he would collapse under just the weight of it. And really, what Judge Dredd is, he's a shadow for society. Our need and our hunger for control. So he embodies authoritarian impulses. And society is projecting the fears of chaos into a man who dispenses instant judgment. He's walking superego. He's stripped of the ego or the id. And while he keeps order, this is also proof that the system itself is inhuman. His psychology is less individual and more system by a long shot. Now, the interesting thing about his trauma is that he also lives in constant violence at a level we've never seen. So he doesn't show any of the traditional signs of PTSD, but instead the system kind of weaponizes that trauma by never letting him fully process it. He never gets to stop and even think about the crazy stuff that he just did, because he's rolling on to another, there's just an endless grind of executions and sentences and moral compromises that keep him locked in this truly survival mode. And this psychology here kind of mirrors what we see in long-term soldiers who can't retire because they can't function without the war, but yet they're broken by it. So he showed some classic symptoms of identity erasure right off the bat. Through duty, he's dissociated as a human and consumed by uniform and law. He is a product of this authoritarian conditioning with minimal personal agency. And his defense mechanism is suppressing and repressing all empathy. So he really has taken on the weight and the burden of being in society's shadow figure. He's both a protector and at the same time he is an oppressor. So he really gets to wear both hats. But we kind of see clearly what's on display with Dredd. There's a lot of complex layers of how you get a human to be exactly what Judge Dredd is in that role. And he captures it very well. So give me your thoughts on how he processes, how he goes about putting together, and the various layers that make up Judge Dredd.